Feedback Learnex. English forever.
Welcome back, Feedback Learnex. Thanks for joining us again. As I told you last week, this week we're going to take a look at the last 5 of our list of 10 books taken to the big screen. Lolita, 1962. Professor Humbert begins a steamy romance with a 14-year-old girl and embarks on a journey through the bowels of the United States. They saw that the most North American novel of all was written by a Russian. The same sentence fits for the adaptation that Stanley Kubrick made of Lolita. The most North American film of all was made by a director with Romanian and Austro-Hungarian ancestors. This work of universal literature, written by the legendary Vladimir Nabokov, is a journey to which no man had ever gone, to the borders that a 40-year-old is capable of transgressing in order to satisfy his perverse obsession with a girl. For Nabokov, writing the script for his best-known and controversial book must have been like giving birth to a perfect creature for the second time. The Shining, 1980. Stephen King is recognized worldwide as the master of terror. Each book he writes becomes a sales record and is taken to the cinema in a short amount of time. However, few adaptations of his work have achieved the success achieved by the Kubrick-Nicholson duo, as in The Shining. Abandoned to their fate in a hotel rather than claustrophobic, the characters of this masterpiece slowly succumb to the strange phenomena that occur between passageways and rooms with cubist and hypnotic decorations. Jack Torrance, a writer who fights against alcoholism and creative blockade, is seduced by the aura of evil that hangs around the place and ends up becoming a destructive madman with a thirst for blood. Strangers on a Train, 1951. There is no perfect crime, but Alfred Hitchcock tried to devise one that was in most of his films. Strangers on a Train is the first novel that could be considered the mother of the police genre and black literature. Patricia Highsmith traces in this story the route of 2 oppressed men. Tennis player Guy Haynes does not support his hysterical wife, and eccentric Bruno Anthony has no peace because of his father's ubiquitous rule. When one knows the story of the other, the idea of exchanging homicides arises. Other works by Patricia Highsmith have become high-ranking films as well. The Godfather 1, 2, and 3, 1972, 1974, and 1990. The rise and fall of the Corleone lineage are narrated in this trilogy, where the corruption that reigns from the low world to the highest spheres of power is revealed. Seeing the trilogy of The Godfather is an offer that cannot be refused. It is the holy trinity of the 7th art, and those actors who participated in it won a free pass to immortality. Francis Ford Coppola turns Mario Puzo's novel into an award-winning choral work that has become the forced paradigm of gangster cinema since the 1970s. The Oscar that won the best film has it well deserved, just as Brando deserved the Oscar that they gave him for his unforgettable performance and then rejected. Apocalypse Now, 1979. Captain Benjamin Willard is sent in search of Colonel Kurtz, a mission that involves entering the dark heart of the war without hope of going out alive or complete. All the words of this film and those of the book on which it is based should simply be framed in monumental signs of admiration. But this would make both the book and Coppola's masterpiece crowded, and therefore it is enough that at least the last words uttered by the tormented Kurtz carry these signs as sentinels of the ineffable. Ah, the horror! The horror! Apocalypse Now is one of the most ingenious and risky approaches to the Vietnam War in the history of cinema. Now, as you can see, and we finish up the 10 books taken to the big screen, they are definitely books and movies that have set themselves apart in the world of cinema and literature. Thanks for tuning in on this week's edition of Feedback Learnex. Stay tuned next week, Thursday night at 9:15 p.m.
Feedback Learnex, English Forever. Estamos en sintonía. Feedback Learnex, English Forever. Learnex.